You're listening to KEHR, 50,000 watts, broadcasting worldwide from sunny Southern California. ExtremeHealthRadio.com. This is Chief BioPappy signing off. Over and out.
G'day, this is Joe Cross from the movie Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead and from RebootWithJoe.com. I'm on Extreme Health Radio with Justin and Kate, and we are juicing up the world.
Wake up your immune system to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Visit CARNIVORA.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY today.
Increase brain health and improve focus, memory, clarity, and mood with BioAge Superfood. Get 10% off your order using coupon code JUSTIN at extremehealthradio.com/BioAge. Oh, it'd help if I started the music, wouldn't it?
What?
You're staring at me like I'm crazy.
You're looking at me like you're trying to stare me down.
Stare you down? A little staring contest?
What was it about staring in the person's left eye?
I know. I should be staring in your left eye, right?
Oh, that was Meridian.
Is that what she said?
Meridian Grace this last, I guess it was on Monday.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, she talked about, like...
staring in your left eye.
Staring in the other person's left eye, just gazing at each other. She said they did that for, like, a day straight, only breaking to... Actually, they didn't even break to eat. She said they fed each other while she and whoever they were, like, gazing at were involved in this, like, soul reading thing.
Yeah, it was some sort of open eye meditation, whatever.
That was interesting.
That was pretty weird. Pretty cool, though.
Very different.
I got nothing against that.
No. Be hard, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I wonder, she said to look in the left eye because of what was reason?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was strange. I liked it, though.
Is it that I liked it too, but you know what? I'm looking at you. Am I supposed to look at what I perceive as your left eye? Or is it like your left eye? So I'm looking at your right eye.
Oh, I see. Because of the cross and then your
Right.
perception. Probably just this eye. My left eye.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Is this one my left one?
That's.
Is that my left eye? This one? Yeah.
Remember Lisa Left Eye Lopez?
No, who's that?
She was on TLC.
No.
You know that band from the 90s?
Oh, I thought you meant TLC, the
TV show?
Yeah.
No, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She was on. She was in that band with Beyonce.
Why do they call her Left Eye?
I don't know, but that's strange. She ended up dying.
Lisa Left Eye. Did she die in a car accident?
She did. In Honduras.
In a different country, yeah.
Doing mission work or some sort of Peace Corps work or something.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I wonder why the left eye. What's up with the eye? Strange.
At least it wasn't Lisa the All-Seeing Eye.
The Eye of Horus Lopez. That could be like her MMA name.
Oh, gosh.
Lisa the Eye of Horus Lopez. That would be pretty cool. Ay.
Ashley agrees in the chat room. Illuminati, she says, haha.
Illuminati, yeah, I know, right?
Right, though?
Wonder what's going on with that.
I'm losing my voice.
You're losing your voice?
Maybe they want me to shut up and not joke about the Eye of Horus.
The all-seeing eye.
The all-seeing eye.
Which is quite strange when you start looking at all the different artwork, like in the media and things. Why are a lot of corporate logos, there are eyes and things?
Well, I still think it's just that. I think the dollar bill is still weird. And I think it's really weird how all the movie stars are always like, all the rappers, they're always holding up that triangle and putting their eye through it and all.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Celebrity shot. It's really weird.
Is that just to be cool, or what is that, I wonder?
I don't know, but it's creepy.
That's really strange.
They picked a weird thing to be like, hey, that's cool. Like, who made that up?
I know, right?
Seems like there's a little bit more behind that than just some random bunch of people holding up a triangle. If one person did it, that's one thing, but like, to have everybody doing it, just something's going on.
Yeah, something. There's something weird about that. And I was all ready to say, let's start on time because we're a few minutes late today.
Yeah.
And I was telling you that we need to start on time, and I was too busy swishing my mouth out with baking soda before the show.
That's funny. I did that too.
Did you?
Yeah. Because
Except you're on time and I'm not. That's the problem.
You had so much to do to get ready for free for all.
That's true.
But yeah, is it because you had blueberries in your smoothie and didn't want it to stain your teeth?
Yeah, I always try to make sure that my mouth is dry or is washed out with, especially if I eat sugar.
Yeah.
I try to make sure I rinse my mouth out with baking soda just so that it gets the acids off the teeth and all that.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah?
Excuse me, yawn. I'm in a mellow mood today.
Yeah.
That's good, though. We had the One World Way. We were out of our way for about a week.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a sad state of affairs.
That was a sad state of affairs.
So we got it last night. We got it at 9 o'clock, 8:45 at night.
Isn't that strange?
The UPS truck showed up. Weird, right?
Glad to have it back, though. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm celebrating. It's a good Friday if you have your whey protein.
I'm looking forward to the new batch they're going to have that has the 21 grams of protein and then the 5 grams of sugar. That's going to be really cool. So
that's those are the ones that are available right now, right?
I think they're available now. Yeah, we just ordered the old versions and yeah, so I'm looking forward to the new batch.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be good.
Protein's where it's at. Huh?
How was your walk this morning?
I walked Maggie. I meant to get up early to walk on the beach like I've been trying to do regularly. But, yeah, it was just one of those mornings where I felt like I'm going to listen to what I need to do. And I felt like I needed to just kind of chill a little bit and walk Maggie instead. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was nice and peaceful. Or not?
Not really.
No. It's less than
it's
peaceful.
trash day.
Yeah.
So there was Maggie's new thing is to try to chase the trash trucks, which is not smart.
Really?
When you're a 10-pound wiener dog against a giant trash truck. She's just going at it. The trash guy laughed as he waved. And there was fire truck and paramedics outside a block over.
Really? What was going on?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. They had pulled up and unfortunately going into someone's house over there.
Oh, wow.
The house where Maggie doesn't like the white dog.
Oh, okay.
They were over there.
Oh.
And, yeah, we had about 14 dogs try to bark their heads off as we walked by. It was an exciting morning.
It was quite the walk. It wasn't the peaceful walk in the forest that Mike Adams talks about.
Not really.
It's not the goat walk.
Oh, my gosh. What I wouldn't do for a goat walk today. Right?
Wow.
But today is Friday.
It's Friday.
It is September 5th, 2014.
Look at that.
It is my favorite month of the whole. Well, I don't know. Actually, October is my favorite.
You like
month.
October, yeah. You love the fall season, don't you?
Fall is my favorite.
Fall's good too because in the fall you get everyone going back to school, which is nice. But then you also got all the southern hurricanes down in Mexico, which cause a lot of big surf.
And that's been kind of fun, huh?
Yeah.
Don't they have the big contest here?
They do.
September? Isn't that always September?
That's always September.
Yeah.
Kelly Slater and the crew, all the surfing crew.
So fun.
Yeah, that's a fun time. I love that because all the kids are back at school. The water's warm, waves are big.
And you love it.
And I love it.
Yeah, the kids started school here yesterday.
Yeah.
Such a bummer to start on a Thursday. I remember they used to do that. You'd have 2 days of school and then you have a weekend and it's like, just kidding, here's summer again. And then just kidding, you have to go back to school on Monday.
Man, I tell you, I'm so, like, I was looking at schoolwork last night because I went to a friend's house and hung out and he's got some kids and it was just crazy, like the amount of schoolwork that people do. I'm so glad that we're not in school anymore.
Oh
my gosh.
I'm so happy too.
That's just.
There's something I used to love though. I mean, fall for me signifies like just change.
Uh-huh.
The fall season and then the new year. And then I feel like everything's just kind of standard after that. But it signifies a lot of change to me and it reminds me of, that feeling of going back to school. The feeling of going back to school I really liked. I just didn't like actually going back to school.
How do you separate the two?
Well, you get to go shop for back to school clothes
But don't you know that like, I'm going to put those clothes on and so when I put those clothes on, I have to go to a place I don't like?
Yeah, but the first week of school was always really fun because you got to see your friends.
Yeah.
You got to see who's in your class.
Yeah. And see who's there.
Yeah. It was just kind of fun. And then you realize shoot, now it's now I'm in it for the year,
Yeah.
But yeah, for the first week you had an outfit every day as a girl that you were excited about wearing. And, yeah, you had all your school supplies and.
Imagine if you didn't like the outfits and you didn't like the school supplies and you didn't like the school.
Well, then you got problems. Is that how you felt about things?
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I wasn't a good school kid. I never really, when I sat there in class, I was always just waiting for recess and I was not a good student.
Oh, wow.
You know, I didn't like learning that way.
And look where you got in life. It didn't matter, did it?
It didn't matter too much.
It
no.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Thanks for putting up with my fall. You used to call it the 4-letter F word. The other 4-letter F word.
Oh, the other 4-letter F word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
But it's okay. You've now celebrated with me.
I'm trying to be better at changing with the seasons. I'm really last winter and fall, I felt like I did my best.
You actually seemed it, I have to say. I give you props. You've changed.
I'm someone who just loves. I would live in summertime weather all year round.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of weather I like. Is warm.
You would live in Hawaii, no problem. Huh?
Oh yeah.
See, I would not be happy with that.
The tropical feeling, the ocean lifestyle, the surfing, all that. Like that to me is paradise. And so I could live in that. But I could see how you love fall.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But last fall was the first time I was able to kind of roll with the seasons more.
I think you came into a place of acceptance.
Yeah, I can't fight the seasons. Yeah, I can't do it.
It will change.
Yeah.
No, I have to say I was really impressed with you, because usually it was like, I'd say, oh, it's September, woohoo, I'm going to put up the fall decorations. And you're like, ooh, like, can you just give me until mid-September? And I was like, oh man, fall decor only lasts for so long, and you got to get it while you can get it. And so this morning I put out a pumpkin and you didn't say a word.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm trying to get better.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Trying to get better. Trying to accept the things that are.
You are. You're doing really good.
Last week, I think we did our first Mike Adams gratitude walk, didn't we? Or goat walk.
We could call it our gratitude goat walk.
Yeah,
we did. You came up with that idea. What made you think of that?
I just thought that it was important to. There's a lot of disturbances. We live in a very busy, kind of loud area, and so for people that are increasingly becoming empathic, and for people that are sensitive to noise and desire an element of peace in their lives, and I've been like that, and you've been like that for some time now.
Yeah.
And so not only do we want the peace and the quiet in our life, but we also are really affected by a lot of noise and stuff going on outside, and just kind of just general craziness that's going on with neighbors and loudness and things. And so I feel like a lot of times it's a constant level of awareness that I have to remind myself to get into, to snap into, to realize that, we're grateful for everything, and to not get upset at, something that goes by, or some loud thing that's disturbing us, or construction next door. And so I thought, why don't we do a gratitude walk where all we do is fill up our minds with things that we're grateful for, no matter what they are. And I kind of had the idea of it being similar to, what do we call it? The where you add food, the subtraction by addition.
Uh-huh.
And so I figured if you did subtraction by addition with gratitude, where you constantly just told yourself and talked to yourself about how grateful you are for everything, your mind can only focus really on one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. So if you focus on that stuff, you just wouldn't focus on anything negative or anything that you're frustrated with or want, or this pull you have to go to some other place or live somewhere quiet. So I figured if we just focus all our time and energy on that would be a cool thing. Mm-hmm. And we successfully completed our first gratitude walk.
We did. Yeah. Well, we've only had one.
Yeah, we've only had one, but we're working on number 2 soon.
But that was like a 40-minute walk of just talking about great things we're grateful for.
Yeah.
I would go, and then I would, remind you of something, and then you would say something, and it would go on and on and on. Mm-hmm. And then we realized, wow, by the time you're home, you feel better. I mean, it's true. Because usually, we tend to go out and kind of gripe about things or make sarcastic remarks about, like, how we live in the ghetto. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool, because I would say something, and it wasn't necessarily physical, or it was just anything that we're happy with in life, and so it's kind of hard to.
Let me see what's out there real quick.
Yeah, I'm a little distracted because as we're talking, we took off our headphones, and there's a giant truck outside. Not sure if you guys can hear that.
It was a giant cement mixer.
Was it a cement mixer?
Where is that thing going?
Yeah,
the streets are so tiny here. That's the weirdest part.
The streets are so tiny, and then the houses are very close to each other, so the sound doesn't dissipate really that easily. It kind of gets rebounds or reflects off the other houses back and forth. And so it's just incredibly loud. Oh, man.
You know, the thing I was telling you today that was really interesting on the walk with Maggie is I feel kind of like, I don't know how you say this, but like bipolar in the sense that we can go from a gratitude walk one day and be like, okay, this is our new thing. We're going to now be grateful every time we walk.
Right.
To the next day you wake up and you're just like, I hate everything. Like this construction, there's like a mixer and a saw in my bedroom. It's right now at my window, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was listening to, I woke up extra early this morning to do the sauna. Mm-hmm. And I always listen to Hay House, you know, just somebody talking. And there was a couple, they weren't a couple actually, they both written books. And they were being interviewed by Reed Tracy, the CEO of Hay House. And they were talking about how it's, you know, I think they mentioned Jack Canfield, you know, the guy at the Chicken Soup for the Soul. Yeah. And they were reading his dream list of things that he wanted to achieve in life and things like that. And some of them involved some pretty, I don't know how I say it, but
lofty
goals or visions, and you know, included living like a star lifestyle and having this giant, you know, living like 5-star house, you know, hotel kind of living.
Really?
Yeah, along with helping people and helping the world. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but I thought, you know, they were talking about the power of intention and the things that you really desire. Be very, you know, crystal clear about what you want. Otherwise, you won't get it.
Right.
You know, and my first thing was like, okay, like I know that I just want some peace and quiet. Like that's really important to me. And there's nothing wrong with peace and quiet. Like I don't need a huge house, but I really, really desire to be living in a more peaceful space.
Just a place of solitude. It doesn't have to be huge.
Just where I can be quiet. Like where I can read a book without having to shut all the windows in the house because you can't concentrate in your own living room.
Turn on some form of noise.
Yeah. Like, and so I'm thinking, okay, well, that's not too much to ask. And then, you know, that interview finished up, you know, because it was at the end. And so I thought, well, I have another 20 minutes in the sauna. I'll start the next one. And it was this, I forget her name, but she was an author and she lived in India. And she was talking about how she lives in the center of like the hub of the most crazy city in India, one of the most crazy cities.
What city was it, do you know?
Was it Mumbai?
Mumbai? Yeah.
I think so. And the person interviewing her was asking her how she finds peace and seems to live this very like spiritually aware, very Zen life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what am I supposed to take away? I get two totally conflicting.
What did she say? What was some of the things she does to...
Well, she was saying that she, you know, like anyone, it would be ideal to be able to go up into the mountains and be by yourself like a monk and just hang out and be Zen, but that's not everyone's reality.
Right.
So she was saying like, for her, it's a way of life. It's not a particular set of practices she has every day. It's just being mindful and aware throughout the day to make peace within herself. It had to come from within. It was something where it's not contingent upon your outside circumstances.
Really?
It was, you know, this inner peace. So, you know, that was really good to hear too. So then I take Maggie on this walk and I'm all torn, you know, about, okay, I've been thinking and praying and wanting peace.
Yeah.
And a place to open up for us to be able to get out of this situation. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, again, am I just supposed to find the peace in this and just, you know, reside in contentment and learn contentment? And like, what is the lesson? I'm very confused because it's like, I don't want to invest too much more in this space because I don't want to treat it like I'm putting down roots so that it gets the energetic vibe that I want to stay here.
Right.
But then you talk to somebody like Tisha Morris, who we had on a couple of weeks ago or maybe a month ago now on the Feng Shui stuff. And she's like,
what was her response to that?
Well, she said, you got to love a place. Like you got to make it, you know, even if you want to be out of it, you kind of got to settle in and love it before you can leave it kind of thing.
Okay.
She said, yeah, I mean, you should make things beautiful and peaceful and whatever you can do in your space, whether it's ideal or not, to try to kind of delve in and enjoy it and make it the best it can be.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, I'm still torn about that myself. I mean, if you're wanting to move into a different place or a house or a different apartment or something, you know, how much do you really put into the place you're living in currently? You know,
yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel like I'd have to go back and re-listen to that show and listen to her response. But to me, I feel like if you put energy into a place, even it just feels like you're setting up roots for yourself, even though you don't want them. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a weird thing, isn't it?
It's funny though, because we've been looking to move for 2 years and nothing has come on the radar that either we can afford or that is the right fit in the right area.
Mm-hmm.
So with this office, with this home studio that we've done, I thought, even if we're here another 6 months, if it costs me $200 to revamp this room, it's worth it, because for that 6 months, we'll feel more inspired and enlightened and feel better about people coming in the studio. It just doesn't look so like, just not studio-ish,
Right.
So for me, it was worth, and that's where I go, okay, how much time and energy do you spend though? Because this has been worth it. Because if we're here another year, I'd be so much happier being in this beautiful space than just these white walls and kind of not setting down roots. So I don't know. It's like, there's no guarantee that we'll be out in a year, even though that's our plan and we'd love that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what if you keep thinking something's going to change, and then you don't? You would have missed out on all the basically what could have been done that you didn't do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard, because like this whole idea of wanting to get peace, I know mentally, that as long as you want things like that, and you realize that they're not within you, and you're not living that way emotionally yourself, you're always going to want that, because that's just, it'll fulfill its desire to be the thing that you want. It's going to be something that you want. So you'll get that want, and so I know that in a sense that you have to create it yourself or live in that space yourself. But it's such a challenge, when you want something, whether it's a job or boyfriend or girlfriend, or, you know what I mean? Like, when you want something, it's hard to just let it go, isn't it? Or live in that place that you have it already. Because that's the real answer. But man, is that challenging? It
is challenging. I don't know. Like, how can you be effective at that?
Yeah, I know.
Or successful. I mean, how can you effectively live like that in your own life?
Because there's a balance. I know for me, like I want to do certain things, but I don't want to do them here because I know we want to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And so if someone's like, wanting a certain job, they've done interviews for a job, or if someone's done, maybe they've gone out with a person a couple times and they really want that person, it's almost as if you have to be just okay with not having it, but then imagine yourself having it and completely let go, but then also attach yourself to the idea of having it as well, but not being attached to the letdown in case it doesn't happen. So it's like this weird balancing.
It's a weird place to live in between. It's like this in between land of.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, and I by no means have it mastered. I'm really struggling with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we have Dr. Bergman coming in today into the studio later on, which is why we wanted to start on time. And I'm glad that we have the studio done up for him so that it looks good.
Yeah, we feel more proud of it than just being like a extra room with white walls, kind of boring.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what the answer is to that. I know that ultimately you want to find that peace within and not look to something outside, some external environment, as a way for yourself to be happy. So if you're looking for, a peaceful place, or if you're looking for, a raise at your job, or if you're looking for different things, different people in your life to make you happy, or a job in general, a certain job you want. I know that's a dead end street, because none of these external things are going to keep you happy in the long run.
No, it's true.
So even if we were to go to the complete ashram, and somewhere in town,
which sounds nice,
it sounds really nice, a little Zen garden. But eventually there would be something where we would have the internal struggle.
No, I know, you're right. That's how I feel about. I've been thinking a lot lately about, how most of us always think that if you get to this place in life, you're going to feel successful or peaceful or happy, or because everybody's always like, once I get out of debt, or once I move to that place, or you're right, once I have that relationship, or once I this or that. But it's kind of like, I realize, and I always think of The Power of Now, by what's his name, Eckhart Tolle. There is no then. So if you can't find that peace, like if I can't find that peace along the way, as if I already have all those things, I mean, you're always just going to be where you are. It's like, even then is going to be your now sometime.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I'm trying to really live as if, like, I don't want to spend the next 7 years thinking, okay, I could get out of my debt and miss miss life, just planning on trying to get out of debt. It's like, I want to get out of debt while I live my life fully.
Right.
And that's just a really hard concept for me to wrap my mind around, like to live in this space, like going, okay, I'm making progress, but without thinking that that's going to be the ultimate, goal, because when I get there, I would create something else to stress about and something else new to dig myself out of, or almost create myself a new problem so that I had something to work on. It's weird.
It's like that whole idea of like, we were talking with Kevin Behan on one of our shows about the natural dog training. And he was saying that, a dog needs to they have this certain amount of energy and, that's bottled up within themselves, and they have to get it out. And so they'll create problems for them to work at so that they could overcome.
Yeah.
In order for you to do the same thing in your life, which is really weird. So like with you, you don't want to give up living life, while you get out of debt. And so in the same way, like if you got out of debt completely, you would create some other problem, right?
I would.
Yeah, it's almost like just the nature of being a biological entity. It's like animals do it, we do it, and like with the dog, like Maggie will always do this. She'll get her ball and she'll like kind of play soccer with it. She'll kind of kick it with her front short foot, and she'll do it, and she'll be right next to the couch, and the ball will go underneath the couch, and then she'll try to fold her body and get on her side and start digging underneath the couch. So she created this problem so that she can
so she can save herself from it, so she can fix it.
So she can fix it. And then so that's the same way with humans. It's like, a lot of times people that are very anxious or stressful or whatever will create, once they overcome that with an outside circumstance, they'll just create another circumstance within their life in order to, it's almost like we ourselves are like the trainer or the coach pushing you to do 2 extra reps or to run an extra mile. Subconsciously we create the situation that we're going to need to use to rise up in our own life and to become strong enough to overcome whatever situation we're having.
Isn't that a weird concept?
Yeah. Like why would you, if you got out of debt and the stress or the anxiety is what's there for you. Mm-hmm. And so you feel like, if I got out of debt, then that anxiety or stress will go away. Mm-hmm. But your body would almost, or your soul would create another situation, right, to be stressful for?
I think so.
Yeah, and I think it's doing that probably because unknowingly, like we don't know we're doing these things, but probably because it wants us to develop the character it takes to rise up out of that.
I think that's so true. Because I thought yesterday weird? I was driving around going, if I had $1 million in the bank, where seemingly you think, okay, that's easily, paying off my debt and then living in a great way. Like if I was careful, I wouldn't have to worry ever again.
Right.
I was like, well, that, we always think like if you had that, there'd be no worries. But then I thought, you know what? Money then wouldn't be my worry, but it would shift to something psychological. I'd be like, maybe we were pregnant or something, and I'd be like worried about the pregnancy the whole time. And then I'd be worried about the kid. And then I'd be worried about I'd create these things to worry about. So it shows that, even if you have mass amounts of money, I think that money would take away the stress worries about debt, but it wouldn't solve, I would create something for myself.
Yeah. It's almost as if the worry is there and it needs some sort of way in your life to express itself. So if for certain people, if their dharma or their life path or whatever God has for them is somehow to get in some kind of financial debt, then that's where their worry and stress and anxiety will reside. But for some other people, it might be, relationships or something. And so they create these drama lives, their lives are full of drama.
Yeah.
And it's weird that I really feel like that's why we're creating these situations.
I think we are too. I really do. I think that getting into debt isn't a mistake, and it isn't by chance. It's something that for some reason I had to learn, and I chose it, And
it gets into a spiritual way. See, the thing with all this stuff is, even if you get sick with a disease or you get a diagnosis or something, I think it's always important to look at the deeper issue. What's really going on? Like I was talking to, who were we talking with recently? Meridian. And I think I was talking to her off the air, and she was talking about how, with this ALS thing that's going around. She was doing this work with recall healing. Dr. Massey was working with this guy on recall healing. And let me think if I can try to understand the situation. Okay, yeah. So this guy calls Dr. Massey, or his family did. I think he only had three days to live or something. It was like the doctor said, okay, he's going fast, and so they called Dr. Massey. And imagine that, being a holistic doctor, you're giving a patient that's got 3 days to live, my goodness, right? And so they call him up, and so when he starts working with him, he finds out that a little bit of time before he was diagnosed with ALS, which basically is paralyzing him, putting him in a wheelchair, he was having all kinds of suicidal thoughts and struggled with carrying out the suicide, and even I think wrote a note or was very serious about carrying this suicide out. And so he looked at his recall healing book, and it had a section of suicide. I think it was like there was a connection between suicide and this neurological disease ALS that he had. And it was the story was that he created the neurological disease in order for him to prevent himself from carrying through with a suicide.
Whoa.
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Isn't that just the weirdest thing?
Never heard of such a thing.
It's a pretty deep stuff, this whole recall healing stuff. And
so you conclude that with any disease or chronic illness that people go through, I mean, I was going to say besides getting like hit by a truck and being paralyzed, but maybe you even created that situation in the first place. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But are you saying that is the reason? Because I hear that the root of all disease is like mental, emotional, or spiritual anyway. So you think that's what's going on? I mean,
if I had to guess, I would say yeah. I mean, it seems to be that case. I mean, with this kind of stuff, it's so weird. I mean, how do we know? It's so impossible to know what's really going on a psychological, emotional, spiritual level. I mean, who really has the tools to measure what's happening to the cells and all this stuff? But if I were to guess, I would guess that stuff is all true, because it seems so non-coincidental, And so I think that getting back to what we're talking about, creating our own fears and stuff, anxiety, even if it's a physical disease like that, I still feel like if you don't recognize that you're creating this fear and anxiety with money, with getting out of debt, and realize that you'll put it onto other things. Most people don't see that and don't realize their patterns, their subconscious patterns they live in life. And if you don't see that, then it's going to be, these kinds of problems are going to keep popping up. So it's almost like, God's trying to teach us something, and he says, okay, you get in debt because this is what you need to learn. And then you quickly get out of debt somehow. Maybe you come into a lot of money, you win the lottery, or you get a good job. Yeah. Somehow you get out of debt really quick. And so then the ultimate lesson was never learned. So God's going to be like, okay, well, let me give you this. Because you have to, it's part of your
evolution, your
journey.
Evolution,
your path to learn these things. And we're going to keep giving you something until you learn the lesson.
Wow. Interesting. Maybe that's why there's just repeated patterns then with people. Because you often hear that somebody can be bankrupt like 4 times in life. Like they repeat it again when they're would think that they would do anything to get out of that, and they'll never get in that situation again. And then guess what? 5 years later. I mean, we all do that. I do that. It's almost like Maggie. Yeah. Like I throw my ball under the couch and then I get it. And that's all I've ever wanted. And then I throw my ball under the couch again.
I know, right? What's that?
Why do I keep doing these things?
I know, right?
I don't know.
It's really weird. All right, we're going to take a little break. This is episode, we never even introduced the show. If you guys would like to support the show, there's lots of different ways to do that, but a couple of them are our sponsors, so you can check out those. We're going to run the ads for them, Carnivora and BioAge, which are 2 amazing sponsors that we love and take their products on a daily basis. Just great stuff. And we also have done a couple shows with Richard Ostro. I keep wanting to say Oatstraw. Why do I want to say Oatstraw?
Oatstraw.
Richard Oatstraw and Roland Thomas.
Ostro.
Richard.
He just said Oatstraw.
No, it's going to go back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so if you guys want to listen to those, you can. And also, we have our Amazon link if you guys would like to make any of your purchases through Amazon. Richard Oatstraw.
You can't joke about it or it'll stick.
Hey, we never talked about our ability to get up off the ground. We were talking with Steve Maxwell yesterday.
We should. Well, yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to be right back right after this break.
Real people, real stories.
And he discovered Carnivora, was so thrilled with the product that he shared it with his family and his friends and his patients. My dad was a family physician. He was a medical doctor.
Almost all the symptoms were either diminished or gone. Amazing product, amazing results.
And found Carnivora. Something really wonderful was happening. I had to show my family. I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
It's like an amazing thing having such a profound change in how I feel and knowing that it was the Carnivora that did it.
Hello, folks. Richard Ostro, owner for Carnivora Research International here. Wake up your immune system and that of your loved ones to protect yourselves against harmful invaders. Used successfully by President Reagan in 1985 when he had it sent to the White House. Visit carnivora.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY. That's CARNIVORA.com or dial 1-866-VENUS-FLY and start protecting yourself today.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, and even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now just take one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed of 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. And if you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity, is safe for you and your family, and it helps protect against radiation exposure. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at extremehealthradio.com/bioage or call 877-288-9116. Get 10% off your order using coupon code JUSTIN at extremehealthradio.com/bioage. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
We're having a good time here. This is episode, let me make sure I get this correct, episode 311, and this is September 5th, 2014. Let's see here, September 5th, 2014, that's correct. And yeah, I hope all of you guys are having a good time and a good day. Friday is just, Friday is such a fun day. It's our favorite day of the week. I'm not sure if you guys, I'm really curious to know if you guys enjoy the Friday shows or the interview shows, because I'm curious about that. Really, really curious to see if you guys enjoy which ones you prefer over the other ones. For us, I really love doing the Friday shows. The interviews are fun. I love doing the in-person interviews. Like today we have Dr. John Bergman coming in to the studio. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk with him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I love those in-person ones. Yeah, the in-person ones are a lot of fun. I love doing the other ones as well. I'm just curious what all the listeners have to say about that. But Kay, hey, I wanted to ask you about your low sulfur diet. Is everything? I am. Well, here's the deal.
You're doing pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's been about, 2.5, almost 3 weeks now, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that went fast. But yesterday was the first day I quote cheated. I made a half raw pumpkin pie. I cooked the crust, but then I made the pumpkin filling for the top.
Oh, by the way,
completely raw.
We put this on our Facebook our page, and everyone's asking for the recipe.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to do a step-by-step today, because I don't even know exactly how I make it. I kind of throw stuff together.
Maybe put it on a blog post, because it's actually a combination of 2 different recipes, right?
It is, yeah. And I add my own little flair in.
Oh.
But what happened is, I've been struggling. I wanted to make this pumpkin thing so bad, but it has 2 egg whites in the crust. And no grains, no gluten, no dairy. I mean, there's nothing. But I thought, okay, well, those are high in sulfur. I know eggs are not, ideal, but I've been feeling so good. This will be a giant experiment to kind of see how I just do with 2 egg whites.
Right.
And it's spread out over the whole crust. So you think 2 egg whites aren't going to do much to you, but I kind of felt it.
Really?
And I was super bummed.
Really?
So I think what I'll do, because you seem to do okay with that, because you're not a sulfur-free diet, but...
Well, you know what? I don't even know if I am, sensitive to sulfur. I may be and not know it. That's the thing. You just have had the testing.
Yeah, that's true.
But overall, in general, what was the deal? You were feeling like your organs were hurting a lot, right?
Yeah, my organs, literally, I mean, it sounds so funny, but they've been hurting for like a couple years, like... where I'd really feel my organs. I knew when my liver or gallbladder was acting up. I could tell when my pancreas was off. Like I was really in tune to I call it organ awareness.
Nice.
And I really knew, like I really, really felt when, my body was off. And I probably had about 2 years there where I really had a week, just 1 week without feeling anything. Usually it was every day where I'd feel something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's been ever since I went and got my root canal tooth out with Dr. Nunley last March. It's been a lot better, but everything that I've been doing has been adding to my healing. So the sulfur-free diet, I haven't felt my organs hurt.
You know what's awesome too?
In a couple of weeks, like I haven't been aware of anything going on inside my body.
That is good.
It's really cool.
It was really cool that trip was such a blessing, because it was like we got the most amazing dentist, one of the best biological dentists in the world. Our dentist, Dr. Stuart Nunley, if you guys are interested. I think we interviewed him. Was he 185?
Ooh, I don't know.
Maybe put a little note there, and I'll put a link if you guys are interested in listening to him. But we had the most amazing treatment from a world-class guy like him. And then on top of that, we were able to get a lot of clues onto your thing. And we walked into Hill Country Health Store in Marble Falls.
That was such a cool experience.
On a complete whim, we left the hotel in search of water. We wanted to just get some water. And we walked in there in this Hill Country Health Store. It didn't have water, but they had all kinds of other stuff. And one of the owners, the husband, Andy was not there at the moment, but the wife, when we were about ready to leave, told us that Andy does readings, or he works with people. So we stayed the next day and had a whole session with him, and ended up staying for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And you got some really incredible insight. I think that was almost as good as the actual dental work.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, he really was. He's so knowledgeable. I think he was a nutritionist, actually.
Because you never would have known the stuff that he told you.
No.
On any blood test or anything.
No. Because he muscle tested me for a lot of things, and I believe in muscle testing. To what extent, I don't know, but it sure matched up with all the blood work I had at home here after. But yeah, he was the first one to say, basically stay away from sulfurs. And I didn't listen.
You didn't listen.
I didn't know what that meant. I thought, okay, is he talking like sulfites, like wine? I don't know what sulfur foods are. And
you thought MSM.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, maybe I'll just stay away from that.
Yeah. And there was a couple things where I thought, with this whole, like, there was so many things I walked out of that store with going, okay, this is a lot to handle. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But I can't do it all. So I don't know what the sulfur thing is, but I kind of pushed it to the back burner.
Right.
And then when I started putting pieces together through, I read Dr. Allison Adams' book. We had her on a little bit ago, called The Natural Recovery Plan.
Oh yeah.
And that whole book kind of put all the pieces together for me. And I thought, there's something about this sulfur thing with just my issues.
Right.
So I cut it out, and sure enough, I went back into the old paperwork from what Andy had tested me for, and he had circled a couple times sulfation, which, is like a sulfur issue. So yeah, I mean, I chose to cut that out. And yesterday was the only time that I didn't feel that great. And I felt like I had, inflamed bowel. I didn't feel good. I felt like I was just really off.
Right.
And as good as that half-baked pumpkin pie was for me, not being able to do eggs, I shouldn't have probably done it. But people that don't have a problem with eggs, it's the only thing in there that could have been, because they eat all the other ingredients throughout the,
coconut.
Yeah, coconut flour, pumpkin, dates, raw honey.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing in there that should have made me react like that. So It was sad, but it was fine,
Yeah, man, oh man. So are you going to make it again?
Oh yeah. But I'll let you eat the crust, and I think I'm going to eat out the topping.
Yeah.
You know what I think I'm going to do is bake an apple. I love baked apple with cinnamon. And then eat like a spoonful of the pumpkin filling, like in between apple bites, so it's just fall in your mouth. It's going to be tasty.
What if you dipped the apple in the pumpkin, or you had the pumpkin kind of put it on there with a spoon?
See, now that is a beautiful idea.
See, like you're dipping it in. Look at that.
Huh? Why don't I scoop out the core of the apple, bake it, and then fill it with pumpkin?
There you go.
Yum.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Because I have to say, that pumpkin pie is really good.
Yeah. It's really
pretty
tasty.
darn good. It's like kind of flat, like a tort. It's not fluffy, but
yeah.
I love can I read something in the chat room?
Yeah, please.
Our guest in there says, maybe the antidote to this, I think being our situation we were talking with living earlier.
Oh, right.
Is to be frequently in a space of gratitude. I like the notion that the best way to love God is to take care of ourselves and our environment, including people, if we're not hermits. And then the guest says again, I've been playing around with the concept of Buddhist versus Taoist breathing lately. The basis is to sit on the edge of a chair, lean forward, exhale, stand up, inhale, sit back down and exhale, then reverse the inhalation, exhalation, but keep the same movements. That is Taoist breathing. That is so cool.
Say that again?
Well, I agree. I'm just agreeing with this guest saying there's so many things that I agree with about living in a space of gratitude. And that's why I think our gratitude walks were so powerful, because it does keep you, when you have a plan and you know that you're focused on being grateful,
right?
It's a lot easier than just saying, oh, I'm grateful and then moving on, but to try to live in that space. And I think that's what's so powerful is living in the space of gratitude. That's the hard part that's the challenge to stay there,
So it's like almost having a like your own personal constitution or your own personal declaration of independence. It's almost like setting aside a thing that you're going to say, this is what my life stands for, and this is what I'm going to create. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to live and how I'm going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And so many times, a lot of people, especially younger people, and us included, get sort of tossed around. We get tossed around and things externally affect us. I know this is true with me. If something if something on the outside happens, I have to immediately process it and think to myself, this is something on the outside, and only I can make myself feel a certain way. There's no external reality or circumstance that can make me feel something. Things are just the way they are. And it's my ability to be human in order to translate that to some sort of usable, functional energy that is practical and has some sort of worth, And so, unfortunately, a lot of us don't have a manifesto. I don't, and I should. But it's something where it's like a decree almost. It's like saying, drawing your line in the sand and saying, this is who I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going. These are the principles that I'm going to stand for. These are the principles I'm not going to stand for. These are all the different things in my life that I'm going to do and that I'm going to be. And then once you have that, it would almost be probably a therapeutic thing to write that out.
You were just inspiring me to do that. I feel like I kind of, my eyes illuminated and I got that feeling inside where I thought that resonates with me. That's something I feel like I need to do. Cause if you heard about people talking, I know in the Hay House, one of the people said, to write out you always hear about writing out your obituary, which kind of sounds horrible. And it has more of a negative slant, even though if you can look at that and be positive, but to what did you want your life to be looking back,
Yeah.
But I heard a woman on Hay House say, write your 100th birthday speech. Do you remember that?
No.
And I thought that's kind of cool, but that's how, and I've been thinking about that this weekend, that when you just said kind of write your own creator manifesto, there's something about actually getting that down in words that I think is really powerful.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that. I mean, we have monkey brain, where what you a little bit, but you just let stuff bounce around in there, and you think, I'm really good at I like getting stuff down in writing so that I have more of a clear, pinpointed direction.
Yeah, because if you don't do that, I can see how it's so easy to be tossed around with different ideas and different media things coming at you and different things. It just seems like Stuart Wilde talks about this in this book a little bit. I'll read a little bit of The Infinite Self, but it's really poignant because it's super easy in today's world where I remember there was a guy that I was working with. I used to do security at this big office building. And he was this older guy. He was probably in his mid-70s at the time, and this was back in 95. Mm-hmm. So this is quite some time ago. And he was really into investing, and he was telling me about investments and trying to encourage me to start saving money and put away money for retirement, right? And so one of the things he said to me was, just be aware that everybody has a plan of getting into your back pocket and getting into your wallet. Everybody wants what's in your wallet. Everybody wants that. So you have to be clear as to what you spend your money on and be very clear about how you're going to spend your money, because everyone's going to come and want that. No matter how much money you have, you're going to see commercials. People are going to ask, friends are going to ask for favors. People are going to ask to borrow money. You're going to see advertisements saying you're not good enough because you don't have the latest iPod. Their whole goal is to get in your back pocket, get in your wallet, and get money out of your wallet. And so he was saying, be very clear about how you spend your money and who you spend your money on and where you put that money. And that always stuck with me. But it seems to translate also into our emotional and spiritual living. Every day you go on Facebook, you go on Twitter, you go on CNN, you go on Fox News. There's always a new article saying, did you hear about ISIS, or did you hear about, the latest things going on, the drone strikes killing thousands of people, or whatever it is, whatever tragedies are going on around the world. It's almost like that same concept translates to your emotional wallet or your emotional body, where it's like they are just trying to push your buttons, whoever they are, whatever. Like the whole goal is to draw you in with emotion and to get you off the track of who you are. So that's why having a manifesto would be so cool. Yeah. Because you could write this stuff down and you could have a much easier time not deviating from your core principles. You know what I mean?
I do. I do.
That would be, I'm motivated to do it myself now. I didn't even know I was going to talk about this.
Well, yeah. That's what I love about this show. It's kind of like therapy hour where you just see what comes up. You don't have a plan. You know?
Yeah. It's, I think it's something that would be worthwhile and beneficial, like the Proclamation of Life Manifesto or something like that.
Ooh, I love that.
And these are the principles that you're going to stand for. These are the principles you're not going to stand for. These are the ideas that you're going to embrace. And this is the type of person you're going to be no matter where you're living. And so none of the outside circumstances matter. And so when you start realizing that, like, you hold an energetic space of a certain type of person, like an archetype of who you want to be, then things will come in and try to pull you into their emotional baggage and drama with friends and try to get you all involved in gossip and talking bad about other people. But you realize, because you've written your manifesto, who you are, what you stand for, you could get sucked a little bit. Then you realize, oh, okay, this is what's happening. Okay.
Yeah, that's not true to what I'm about.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems kind of cool, doesn't it?
That might be something I'm going to do this week. Yeah, I do. I think that really inspired me thank you.
Yeah.
That it really inspired me. I hope it inspires a lot of people. Well, you're an inspiration. Like, I do get a lot out of what you, because you live that. You're not just saying these things. Like, you really are good at following through and doing these things, Oh,
thanks. I have my weaknesses.
Well, we all do, but
Harley Davidson's at 3 a.m, causing car alarms to go off and waking everybody up. That's one of my weaknesses.
Who doesn't love that?
I'm working on it.
Oh, man.
So we should probably take a little break now, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to do a little bit shorter of a show today.
Yeah, we have Dr. Bergman coming in at 11:30.
And I got to clean the bathroom.
Yeah, you've got to make this place presentable.
I do.
Okay, for our favorite item, our sauna. A lot of people ask about what they should do, if they should buy a biomat or sauna. Our sauna is just incredible. Isn't it the best?
I woke up early to do it. That's how much I have adrenal fatigue, and I'm very often tired these days. But I woke up an hour and a half early. That's how bad I really want to start my day with the sauna.
Really?
Yeah, more than sleep. It was, to me this morning, it was more valuable than that.
Wow.
But I can't say enough about that sauna, and
oh man,
it's life-changing for me. I feel like that's the main source of detox for me. I mean, it's the tool that has transformed the way that I can sweat and let things go, because I'm not naturally a sweater. I'm not.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing. All right. Anyway, enough about that. We're going to go actually more about that into the sauna. We'll be right back right after this. Kate and I have had our sauna for about a year now, I'd say, when we first got it from Phil Wilson. And it's an incredible machine. We use ours about every single day. Kate sits in about 20 minutes, and I sit in there about for a half hour. Usually watch a documentary, and it's extremely relaxing. It's really, really incredible machine. And if you go to extremhealthradio.com/sauna, you can learn all about it. We did an entire hour interview with Phil Wilson. You can check that out. You can look at the pictures of us with it. You can watch videos on that page. It helps you to sleep really, really well. You can lose a lot of weight with it. You can burn, I think, around 600 calories in about 20 minutes or so. It improves your skin, increases circulation all over the body, and circulation is critical for your health. You can prevent and reverse diseases with it. If you have a cold or flu, it's incredible. It heats you down to the core. It heats 4 to 6 inches inside your body, so it's really incredible. And a lot of people use it for cancer as well. So if you have any kind of incurable, quote, disease, you can use it for that. And Dr. Shade is the foremost authority on detoxification. And listen to what he says about it.
How do I detoxify from plastics? I mean, you guys are using a sauna, and what does a sauna do for us? A sauna is great, but it's moving a number of different toxins. Remember, we talked about the mice, that if you put PCBs in there, then that made the mercury all that much worse. And sweating moves out a lot of plastics, volatiles, fat-based toxins. It's really good at moving those out, sweating those out. So that's how you're getting those out, and those are contributing to this synergistic soup inside the body. And so that's why they're good, is they're taking out a bunch of the different things in the soup.
And Daniel Vitalis, one of our favorite guests. What do you have to say about the sauna?
When you go into the sauna, like a far infrared sauna like you discussed, your body goes into a deep relaxation mode, and your sympathetic nervous system shuts down and your parasympathetic nervous system turns on. And when that's active, that's the nervous system, part of your nervous system that's active when you meditate. That becomes active, and your detoxification pathways open up wide. Why is this important? It's important because when you go running and you sweat, you're not necessarily eliminating very much toxicity from your body. But when you sweat in the sauna, you eliminate a lot of toxicity from your body. So sweating in a relaxed state is how we eliminate. The other thing is that what's wonderful about the sauna is that it puts you in a parasympathetic nervous system response, like as if you were meditating. So it's almost a hack. It's like a trick to get yourself into a meditative, relaxed state, to decompress stress, to reverse the effects of stress, and to get your body eliminating deep, deep toxicity that's stored in your body fat, because it can come out in the oils of your skin. So I think, sauna is one of the most crucial detoxification, really health practices that we could take on, especially in this era of heavy toxicity, particularly fat-soluble toxins.
This sauna is really, really great. They offer payment plans, because if you buy it through PayPal, it's 100% secure. You don't even need a PayPal account. I think you could do a payment plan through PayPal. It's got low EMF electromagnetic fields coming off of it. It's portable, so that means you don't have to knock down a wall in your house. You can just move it from room to room. It sets up in about 2 to 5 minutes. It's super easy to clean. All you got to do is wipe it down when you're done, and wipe the neck down, and it produces energy and heat inside very, very evenly throughout the whole machine. All you have to do is sit in there for about 15 minutes a day. And the great thing I like about it too is it requires zero preheating. So you turn it on and you're starting to get warm, and you're starting to detoxify with that far infrared light almost immediately. So it's really great. It comes with a 1-year warranty. It's about $990 plus $25 shipping. And that's really, really a good deal, because if you look at most of the regular saunas out there, they are in the $2,000 to $4,000 range. So this is really, really a good deal. So check it out, extremhealthradio.com/sauna.
All free free shows all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Lordy, sweet sassy molassie.
That is my very favorite thing you say lately.
Lordy.
No, sweet sassy molassie.
Sweet sassy molassie. Oh my goodness.
Goodness.
If you guys are interested in that sauna, please just let us know. If you have any questions, we have a bunch of information on our sauna page if you guys want to check that out.
If you want to sweat your eyeballs out?
Sweat the old eyeballs
Best
out.
way to do it.
Yeah, right?
That's what I feel like. I'm like, man, my body feels like it's going to sweat itself away.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. That's
it's
for
awesome.
Sure. Hey, you got a little notification there that I thought was pretty funny.
So I checked my email. I refreshed it during the break. And the top email that came in, it says, reminder, circumcision is starting in approximately 3 days.
Don't want that.
Meaning our guest that we have on Monday, right?
We'll be talking about
circumcision, but I thought, wasn't that funny?
Yeah, circumcision starting
reminder.
in 3 days.
And I like that it was sending it to me.
I know, right? That's hilarious.
Well, that might be a little bit of a problem.
That's a bit of a stretch. I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon.
Hey, it's really neat what the same guest, I'm not sure who this is, but guest 713 says,
713.
I'm inspired too. What Justin is saying seems to me a type of wisdom that would be hard to grasp without some experience growing up. Maybe his level of understanding could be considered having come of age. I'm thinking, yeah, because he was an older man, wasn't he? And he probably lived some life and
seems to be
had a grasp on, I don't know, wise living, I guess.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
Do you know if he lived a hard financial life himself?
Who's that?
You're the guy you were talking about when you were doing the security?
I don't know. I know that he was working security full time just as a way to kind of bolster his retirement and things. I'm not sure what exactly his financial state was, but it was just funny. It wasn't until now that I actually put the correlation together that, not only does this happen about money and with money, but it seems like with entertainment and media and keeping us busy in our mind, it seems like I can start making these connections with things more. Whereas back then it was just very singular, but yeah, I just found it really interesting. I think that's part of why we like the Qigong too. It kind of centers you in a spiritual way, but, yeah, really interesting. Should I read a little bit of this book?
Yeah, I love it.
And then I want to get into something that you were talking about on the break.
Okay.
Let's see here. There's a really cool book called Infinite Self by Stuart Wilde, 33 Steps to Reclaiming Your Inner Power.
You are loving that book.
Man, it's so good. Every book or every chapter is just so good. But this one, chapter 27, it's funny because you ever do this with books? You ever you purposely read them slow because you don't want them to end?
Totally.
So
I was Louise Hay, but then I thought I just need to keep it rotating back in my life because.
Yeah.
But yes, I do.
It's funny.
That's when you really connect with a book.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. You don't want it to be over.
So he says, here are a few things I'd like to discuss in relation to emotional discipline. The tribal emotion is common to TikTok and the tribal evolution. You have to understand that and be compassionate. People are going to be out of control. The fears of the ego will dominate their every breath. You have to let them be without judgment or criticizing them. The discipline is to begin to distance yourself from the common emotion and to develop an emotional reality of your own. So when you see, this is kind of like what I was talking about. I probably got it from him. So when you see, when you see newspaper headlines such as inflation, shock, economy worsens, you don't get sucked in. In fact, if you buy the stupid paper and read it, you find inflation has gone from 3.11% to 3.15%. It's no shock, and it's no shock at all, and it's not going to make a blind bit of difference to you. The trick is to stay balanced in a society where the government and its financial policy is bouncing around perpetually. None of that stuff is going to get any better, is it? So don't get sucked into the emotional lack or the emotion of lack. And don't get sucked into your own emotions. Remember this. When you feel negative emotion, immediately nip it in the bud. Extremes of negative emotion are like a nuclear bomb going off inside your metaphysical energy. You have to control the balance fast. So as soon as you find yourself getting out of control, pull back and sit down and visualize yourself standing above yourself, looking back at yourself as a lovely person that is inside you, and ask yourself, what is upsetting her, or what's he angry about? So I like that. It's almost like talking to about yourself in the third person.
Yeah.
So he says, visualize yourself being above yourself and ask and saying, what's upsetting her, or why is he angry? It's like developing that.
That's the last thing I would think to do when you're in that moment.
Yeah, because you realize, your emotions aren't you. So if you pull back, you can see that emotion is not you. All emotion comes from the ego's resistance to the contradictions of life. Most suffer from confusion. They are never quite sure if they have chosen the right path or not. Shall I, shan't I, will I, won't I? All confusion comes from asking questions. You have to ask a question in order to be confused. Think about it. Confusion comes from complexity. If your life is very complex and you're asking yourself loads of questions, you're going to be confused. If you want to heal confusion, simplify your life, take a minimalist approach, and ask fewer questions. Just be and flow. Anger comes from loss. You've got to lose something to be angry. So as soon as you feel angry, sit down and figure out what you've lost and agree to lose it. Frustration comes from the intellectual disease of having to put things into frames and conditions, trying to fit your life into comfy little boxes that aren't necessarily reasonable. That's interesting. So frustration is a disease of not understanding your infinite self and not understanding change, limitations, and time.
That guy's a great writer.
Yeah, right?
He's great.
We're going to put a link to this book on this show page, episode 311. If you guys want this book, you can buy it.
I couldn't love that book anymore.
Through Amazon, through us if you like, and support our show. But man, isn't that awesome?
You know who told us about that?
Who?
Bo Wong.
Really?
Yeah, my partner in crime over at Empower Women's Channel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So she read it and then told you to check it out?
Yeah, and of course she was laughing when she sent me the link. She's like, Infinite Self, 33 steps to regaining your power or something like that?
Yeah, reclaiming your inner power.
And I'm like, of course it's 33 steps, so we both had a laugh out of that with all the double numbers we'd both been experiencing lately.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she said it changed her life, and I'm finding that's true for us too.
I'm gonna read that one again.
So good. I know that when we were taking a break the other day, we were down at the beach for like an hour, and we were talking about, you read me that passage, and it seems to, the reoccurring theme for us lately seems to be just downsizing, and not like we have a ton of stuff, but just to clean out, get rid of stuff, live simple. It was great talking to Steve Maxwell yesterday. He lives out of basically a duffel bag.
Yeah, basically a duffel bag.
And his story was really cool, but and not like we're looking to do that sort of extravagant thing, but just to be unattached. To me, it just meant the unattachment to things again and again. It just, we've been so good at just getting rid of so much stuff, and we've never really, I've always been kind of a holder on to things. So when you read me that passage the other day, I thought, wow, like there's so many things lately that, I get a little bit bummed out that we feel like we shouldn't spend the money on. Like, I want a new refrigerator. I want a stainless steel refrigerator so bad.
Yeah, right.
Our white old one's 15 years old, and it has like, it's the freezer. It's like iced over. Right. The regular refrigerator part, there's water that just like condensation is like settling on top of all the things. So when you pull a container out, water goes everywhere. I mean, it's not ideal, but at the same time, it still works. And so until it dies, I want to be a good steward of my money and the planet, and also to simplify, because you know what, when that refrigerator dies, it will make sense to get a new one, and we'll come up with the money for that, and that'll be okay. Right. But until then, it's like if you get something to replace something that already still works just because you want it selfishly, I mean, that's okay. But I was thinking of the implications of that. Like, basically that refrigerator is going to go take up a landfill earlier than it would have had I held on to it for a few more months or a year until it kicked the bucket, And, there's something about, and I thought that's what I was disappointed in. I was disappointed in the fact that I felt like something was taken away from me, or he said like a loss you know?
Yeah, Stuart Wilde, you mean?
Yeah. And I thought, I feel like I was entitled to that because it's not a perfect working refrigerator. But, when I kind of I don't know how you say that, like unattach myself to the outcome of the timing of getting what I want, it took all the stress out because I was finagling in my mind, like, how can I save a little bit of money to put into this new thing that I want really, really bad because that's going to make me feel better. And, just all this weird stuff. I don't know, like, it's just stuff at the end of the day. And
yeah, it's a weird concept to think that everything that we have is basically just going to be in a landfill in 500 years. It's not even going to be there. I
know, it won't be.
I mean, Steve Maxwell living out of a bag like that. I mean, I've heard some other talks that he's given, and he had that Maxercise Fitness Center, whole gym dojo in New Jersey or New York many years ago. He had a big 3-story house, and now he's living on the road and going around teaching people. And
something so cool about that, so beautiful.
I don't think that it's necessarily we all have to do that and all have to become completely minimalistic like that. But I think what we deep down want to do, we should do. Whether that's pare down or start working on your attachments to physical items. It's funny, this whole attachment thing is just it's been hitting me a lot lately. It's crazy how, think about all the different things in your life that you're attached to.
Everything. Yeah.
You're attached to having a healthy body. Mm-hmm. You're attached to having a husband or a wife. You're attached to having a car. You're attached to air that you breathe. You're attached to the food that you eat. You're attached to just literally everything. And how is it that how can we best unattach ourselves from as many things as we possibly can? Because I realize, like, we can't detach from everything because we need food. We want to eat good food. So there's always this kind of struggle, but man, like, like your desire to want to get a new fridge. I want a new fridge too, but like you said, that fridge is going to go sit in some landfill.
I know.
And so, it's better to not have a desire for things. What do they say? All anger and frustration comes from desire.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or the root of all unhappiness stems from desire.
Wanting. Yeah.
It's
weird. True.
Could you do a complete nomadic life like that? That'd be hard. We couldn't do a radio show.
That's true. You would have to give up a lot of things. I bet. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, I could do anything if I had to. I don't know if I'd want to. But part of me, I mean, I love all these little, little communities popping up around the U.S. where people are in tiny little houses and they're getting really creative with their space, or people living in an Airstream. I mean, there's times where I thought, oh man, that stuff looks so intriguing. But, I don't know. Like, I want to have roots and I want to have wings, but you can't have them both,
Can you not?
Well, I don't know. I haven't found that to be true. Like,
I guess what would prevent someone from having roots and wings? I guess just money, was it? Money and health? But if you're not healthy, you can't go anywhere. You can't really do things. You can't go places and drive and fly. So your health, but then money, I guess, would... I mean, if you had roots somewhere, I guess you could travel.
Well, it's hard because, like... I feel like I would want nothing more than just to be able to pick up and go travel around the world if we had the money.
Yeah.
But now we have this, which I love doing this. I wouldn't want to give up what we do with Extreme Health Radio.
Right.
I wouldn't want to give up, like you said, the ability to record things because you have to have equipment if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we have a dog that I love. So it's like there are things that I'm attached to that I wouldn't be comfortable giving up at this point. So it's like I want wings, but I also want to have some roots, So it's like, I don't know if it's just a time in life and that might be a time for later, or maybe I've done a bunch of traveling in the past and so have you. So if those days like of that free kind of travel, are those kind of gone and then you'll travel in a new way and that's fine?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Cause now I'm fine just taking 5-day trips and I'm content with that right now.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel this giant need to go backpacking through Europe like I used to when I was 22, Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. There's probably different types of attachment too. There's
I think
probably
so.
Yeah, because like there's one attachment to like, I mean, all attachment is going to bring some sort of distress and uneasiness because you can't always have the things that you're attached to, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you could be attached to like our dog Maggie, but if something were to happen to her and she dies, we're attached to her, but we can't have her. So there's always some element of uneasiness because you can't have all the things you're attached to. But there's probably some different types of attachments where, if you have an attachment like I do to this radio show, for example, I'm attached to the idea of doing it. I'm attached to the idea of helping people and bringing people into our lives and allowing whatever knowledge we've been able to accumulate to hopefully help some people. I'm attached to that. So there's probably a difference in attachment to that and my desire to buy, $600 worth of groceries at the health food store, or my desire to buy a new surfboard or a wetsuit. I want to buy a wetsuit. And so it seems like it's a more selfish attachment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas like, at least if you're going to have some attachments, at least hopefully they're honorable things where you're attached to the idea of making the world a better place in somehow, or helping someone, or, something like that, So, but attachments in general are really difficult. I mean, imagine going from a 4-bedroom home, a 3-story home, to living out of a bag. And he seems like he's no worse for the wear.
No, he doesn't.
Steve Maxwell.
I know.
He loves it.
He loves it.
I mean, I don't know how he does that, to be honest, because I don't know if many of you guys know that I used to do jiu-jitsu for 3 years, and I just loved it. But those gis are huge. I don't know how he stuffs a gi into his bag. That'd
be my one bag.
bag.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it either. Talk about a different kind of way of living. I bet he obviously has gotten really good at it, but at the beginning.
It's funny what you were saying about the refrigerator going into the landfill. It's funny with people and different things. It's funny how people will buy things and not really think about what that thing, how it's going to affect their life and how it has already affected the lives of other people. I do it all the time. I'm completely unconscious about it.
You mean the people who like make the appliances and anything that we consume?
Yeah. It's with the new iPhone that comes out, people just jump all over it and not even think about how it was manufactured, what conditions people go through to create that thing for you, and then what happens when you give it up and it goes into a landfill, and what happens to the environment. And then they don't think about the ramifications of the health effects of the EMF that comes off of it, or how it's reprogramming your brain, and it's really affecting how your neurons fire and function, connect to each other. And so it's affecting how you think and your demeanor, your different emotional levels and things, all stemming from this iPhone. But the same could go with any piece of equipment or any computer or any clothing, food. It's funny how people just will buy things and not really think about what are the ramifications of having that. And is it good for society? Is it good for me? Is it good for my health? Is it going to cause me to detach from my children where, I have kids, I'm looking at my phone and they're asking for something and I just completely ignore them. Or is it going to cause me to get into a car crash? Or if I get this thing, whatever item it is, how can I integrate it into my life and not let it control me?
Yeah. Because I don't think there's, again, anything wrong with having things by any means, but no. I think it's how our relationship with them that, at the end of the day, what are we valuing more?
Yeah, right.
People or things, or experiences or things, or spirituality or things,
Yeah, it's hard because too with this with all the products that we promote, I mean, you tend to think that, I need that sauna in order to be healthy, but that's not true. The sauna is great and it does help, but you can become healthy just by walking around and being grateful. That's probably going to do more than any sauna will do, or more just the idea of being grateful and in gratitude, like our gratitude walks.
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny. I was on one of the Hay House speakers, Kate Northrup. She's like a money
gal
professional. Yeah. But I always remember this year's when she talked about, she said a line that was something like, she got into debt and at a very young age, and she got into debt spending money on like self-help conferences and things like that.
Yeah,
she said it was so ironic. Like it wasn't clothes and eating out and things like that. She would literally just be enveloped, like just delve into the world so much so of self-help and, self, realization and things like that.
Yeah.
That she just spent all her money doing that. And I thought, isn't that funny? Like, there's so many things right now that I want that aren't even like bad things to want. Like I have a list on Amazon of like 14 books I want to read that are all going to help me.
Right.
But it's like, I don't want to go into debt and be attached to those things when I could, take a walk by the beach and find some self-help there, and not like I'm going to have to, books are great, but I can buy them one at a time when it makes sense versus just buying all 14 of them and having them sit there, because I'm not going to get to all of them at the right time. But I thought, isn't that funny? Even the stuff that we do attach to that are good for us, we still have somewhat attachments to them, like.
It's so funny, isn't it?
So
it's weird how that works. So ironic, isn't it?
Pretty weird.
To go into debt over like personal development.
Yeah,
stuff.
personal development. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. My brain is fried today.
Gosh, that's so
It's
funny.
the eggs.
That's the eggs?
It's the pumpkin eggs.
Pumpkin eggs.
Pumpkin pie brain today.
Yeah, so I'm curious about you guys, if you're interested, and maybe I think the theme of this particular show was the manifesto idea.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you guys want to do that, and you don't have to share it, but it would be interesting to see if people do write a manifesto, and I think
I'm going to write one this weekend.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be long.
No.
You can just kind of state your principles and stuff, and
I like it.
That way it seems like you have something like a default setting.
I really like that.
Like when you start, when your friends start to try to pull you into their drama, you have some sort of leash that pulls you back,
Yeah, or not even just that, but I mean, there's that, but then there's also that moment when you decide you're at this crossroads. Do you tell the truth about something, or do you not? Or do you lie to yourself, or are you not true with your emotions? You could take that so many different ways of just being transparent.
What you could do too is
being
you could
true to your belief system.
Write your manifesto, and only you know your life and what situations and friends you have. And you can write your manifesto, and then you can sort of write it in a very general way and saying, these are the principles I adhere to, and this is what I stand for. And then you can sit with that and look at what you wrote almost as a third person and look at it and say, like, okay, how would that apply in my relationship with so-and-so? Okay, so when so-and-so starts talking about this, am I going to react any different? Or am I going to respond? I shouldn't say react. Am I going to respond differently?
Very cool.
And then you can kind of look at it like it's your own personal
guide to dealing with situations in a way that's true to your core.
Yeah, and you can start thinking about it in terms of how it relates to personal issues in your own life.
I love it.
That might be kind of cool.
I love that idea.
Yeah, because we all have different people that push our buttons and all that. That'd be kind of cool.
But I agree, if you can get out of your head in a way and out of your body and write it from a third person and then apply it to your specific situation. Like, don't write it with those things in mind and then try to apply them later. I think that's brilliant.
You almost write from the mind of this general principle and general ideas, and then you can apply them to specific things later. A way to improve this? Get the EM wave.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Because Dr. Massey talks about writing letters to deceased family members and all that stuff, and
seeing if you're really doing it from a true heart.
Yeah.
Because that EM wave is something you wear, isn't it? Like the one that you wear on your ear.
Yeah.
And it will tell you, it'll beep at you or show different light if you're being true to yourself and your feelings and your thoughts, or if you're just trying to tell yourself these things to kind of mask over and glaze over.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Wow, that's a step up right there.
Let me put that down on the show notes, the EM wave.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Nice. All right, so I think we're going to wrap up here because we have Dr. Bergman coming in about an hour, and we got to clean this place up.
It's not horrible, but I like to make it look nice for
as
people.
my mom would call it a pigsty.
Oh, it's not a pigsty?
No, it's not.
No, not even close.
Not even close. Not even close. All right, so this was episode 311, is that right?
You got it.
311. Hey, there's that double number again.
311.
I wonder what it's going to be like when we do show 333.
Awesome.
What if show 333 was actually on November 11th or something?
We'll find out.
Would that be wild? It could happen, actually.
Oh, it could.
If that happens.
It totally could.
So, yeah, thanks to everybody for joining us in the chat room. Awesome stuff. Thank you so, so much. It's just awesome seeing you guys in there. And if you're interested in being in the chat room or joining us on the live shows, you can do that 4 days a week right now, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So you can make some friends in the chat room and become a part of the community. And also, too, if you guys want to join the forum that we have exclusively for Extreme Health Radio listeners, feel free to do that. Really great, thriving forum with lots of really interesting and knowledgeable people in there. So That's free to sign up. All you got to do is just go to extremehealthradio.com/forum, and you can create your free account and start interacting with other people, answering questions, and all that kind of stuff. One thing I did want to ask, though, if you guys would be so kind in the chat room, too, maybe I'll put a link to this. I'm not sure. I think you need to do this on iTunes, but if you could do us a favor and extremehealthradio.com/iTunes, I'm typing this into the chat room right now. If you guys could, it would be really helpful if you guys could leave us a review on iTunes and Stitcher. That would just be really helpful because we're starting to get more people listening on iTunes and Stitcher, and that's our whole goal, is to, be known to more people so that we can help them with their health problems and give them some help and encouragement in their lives. So iTunes apparently is a good way to do that. If you write a review and give us a rating on there too, that would be just really helpful. I know that a lot of you guys are listening and doing other things, or you might be in the car, or you might be running or at the gym or something. It would be really helpful if you guys could just maybe when you go home or something like that, go into iTunes and
leave us some words.
Leave us some words. We'd appreciate that so much.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Stay tuned for your circumcision appointment on Monday at 9 a.m. Everyone, just want to let you guys know, on Monday we're going to be doing circumcisions.
We are not.
We'll be talking about circumcision.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite of what people want to be running out and doing after hearing him, but I'm not sure.
And then next Wednesday we have Dr. Ed Park. He'll be in studio talking about telomere length and possibly living until we're 150, 200 years old.
Wow.
Which is something he says is very feasible.
I'm going to live forever.
Yeah, amazing, right? And then John Holiday with Aloha Medicinals. He'll be talking about herbs and mushrooms and all kinds of cool stuff, how to integrate those into your life to boost your immune system and all that stuff. So,
I think that's a wrap.
Is that a wrap?
Yep. Maggie's trying to get in the sauna, so I got to go.
She's trying to get in the sauna?
Maggie.
Oh, my goodness.
Crazy dog.
Remember the other day, it was funny, she was barking.
She was so needy in here yesterday, wasn't she?
That's right, at the end of the Steve Maxwell show.
It was hilarious. She wanted to be all up in our grill.
Oh, that was hilarious. All right, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for being a part of what we do. Please pass our show on to your friends if you can. Consider going to our store and supporting us that way. We'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
That was so good.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this